Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the third and final day of the India Macquarie Conference. The topic and agenda is India's digital dreams. We are hosting this with Praxis Global Alliance. We had a fantastic 2 days looking at major macro trends and mega trends for India. In the first day, we had the pleasure of hosting Mr. Nandan Nilekani and Dr. Viral Acharya. Day 2 was net zeros, India's energy transition choices. We had some fantastic speakers. Deepak Jain from Ather Energy. We had Mukesh Surana, Chairman and Managing Director, HPCL. We had Suman Sinha from Renew Power. We had Mr. Ajay Mathur from International Solar Alliance. And today we address the entire emerging digitization space. I'll hand over to Madhur, who's going to do a Q&A and anchor the session with Falguni Nayar. I had the pleasure of working and knowing Falguni, so it's fantastic to have her on the conference. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Madhur.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sandeep. Good afternoon, everybody, for folks in India. And good morning and good evening to others joining globally. My name is Madhur Singhal. I'm the Managing Partner and CEO of Praxis Global Alliance. We're a specialized firm working with new age businesses, a 200-member company, but growing very rapidly. But anyway, today is not about me. Today is about somebody I'm actually very privileged, humbled, and honored all at the same time to have Falguni, Ms Falguni Nayar come and speak with us. She actually needs no introduction, so I will not attempt to even do much of that. But Falguni is the promoter and CEO of Nykaa. Nykaa, all of us know, has truly revolutionized not just the beauty and cosmetics space in India, but I would say many things together. The beauty and cosmetics as a space, online channels, vertical channels. Undoubtedly, the biggest success story in India happens to come out from the beauty personal care space. And then overall, a lot of it's basically been a germination ground for a lot of direct-to-consumer brands, and truly not just redefine the commerce landscape in India, but also the brands landscape and the way consumers consume different kinds of products in beauty, personal care, hygiene, nutrition, etc. And how they interact with online platforms in the backdrop where there are a lot of sort of larger horizontal e-commerce players. So I'm very excited to host Falguni here. I and Falguni also, while Falguni comes with perhaps double the experience that I have in Kotak Securities, Kotak Investment Banking, and so on. We do share our alma mater, Ahmedabad, so very excited and very honored. Welcome, Falguni, to the panel. Really appreciate you spending time.
Thank you very much, Madhur and Sandeep. It's an honor to be here today.
So Falguni, I'll actually kickstart the discussion. Dive right into this. I think we spoke about how e-commerce has evolved in India, specifically vertical e-commerce. And I think in the last 1.5 years, we are seeing a tremendous acceleration of new kinds of commerce models emerging. Quick commerce models. There are direct-to-consumer brands and so on. Maybe start with sort of your view of how the customer in India is evolving, and what has been the change in the last 1 to 1.5 years, and the sustainability of this pandemic-induced change. Would love to get your thoughts about how you see the Indian consumer shaping up.
Yeah, sure, Madhur. Thank you. I think there's a lot written about the size of the Indian retail market, and most of it remains unorganized, and the part that is organized, and within that, the percentage that is digital is very small. I think e-commerce has got acceleration through COVID times, but even today, I think beauty e-commerce is only about 8%, and fashion, it's at about 12%. And if you look at personal care, it's even smaller than both these numbers. So there is a huge runway and opportunity for growth for digital businesses to tap into this large untapped market and solve the problems, as I call it. I think digital businesses succeed because using technology, they provide solution and a better way of doing traditional businesses with a lot of ease and ability to scale and ability to you educate, you can educate, you can also make it aspirational. You can talk to your consumers, and you're connected with your customers 360 days, 365 days all the time. So I think this is what is changing, and this is leading to very fast pace of growth in digital businesses in the country, be it the platforms or private label brands or D2C brands, as you call it.
Yeah, and finally, as I talk to some of the brand owners, and a lot of new brands have emerged, and for them, the almost the number one source of launch, the platform to launch is Nykaa, just given the audience that Nykaa has, and perhaps some of the no other, in fact, no other platform has the kind of reach and engagement that I think Nykaa has created. Do you see these new brands actually sustaining themselves? And two questions there. One, would they sustain as D2C brands, or do you see these actually sort of jump starting and actually becoming very large brands akin to some of the incumbent, beauty personal care brands that we had, let's say, that's a 3 to 5 years back?
No, so I think a lot of D2C brands they've accelerated the pace of innovation. So pace of product creation and innovation that used to be very slow in traditional companies has been accelerated in today's world. Secondly, these brands understand consumers, and they understand digital marketing. So be it marketing, whether it is digital communication, education, they understand that well, and they're tapping into that. However, the key source of brand strength and sustainable brand strength over a long period of time comes from two, three things. One is that the customer must keep coming back, and a returning customer behavior and a better customer cohort that you hold long term is a key success to the brand. India is a big market, so a lot of new customers may try the brands, but if these customers don't come back, then eventually that music will stop. So I think sustaining the consumer behavior in terms of coming and wanting to consume your brand over a longer period of time is very key to the success. That's what I would say. And there, I think that comes from two, three things. One is understanding the consumer need and giving products that satisfy the customer need. And secondly, having some innovation in terms of product creation. Because if you are uh, sourcing your brands from sources which are not unique to you, and tomorrow you may have 10 other brands trying to offer the same products. So what is your unique customer appeal or unique customer a new unique advantage vis-a-vis the customers? So I think all this is very important to lead to sustainable performance.
Got it. And finally, as you think about consumers, Indian consumers, how homogeneous are they? I hear a lot of, talk about metro consumers being more affluent, and more exposed, but actually rural customers, or forget rural, even tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 city customers, they are now as exposed, as media exposed, as brand exposed. I think some of the fulfillment considerations, constraints have been removed. They're actually now served as well from e-commerce. Do you see Indian consumer sort of homogenizing here on these aspects, or do you actually see 2, 3 different Indias emerging here? For any budding marketeer or a commerce company.
I think for our business, which anyway is a premium business, I think what we find is that we have more than 60% of our customers coming from tier 2 and 3 cities. And we find that they buy almost similar things compared to tier 1 city. There are very minor differences. If I were to stack the top 15 brands in each of the tiers of the city, I think maybe 2 out of 15 may be different in tier 3. Otherwise, pretty much similar stacking. Maybe the order may be slightly different. So I feel personally that at least in our business, we've found that even in other cities, there is that aspirational customer who wants to consume what the big city consumer is consuming. So we don't believe that India is divided across geographical tiering of cities. It may be culturally divided. It may be divided from the perspective of, not necessarily tier 2, tier 3, but maybe along state lines, cultural lines, and stuff like that. But even there, I think the traditional cultural differences are changing, because today, I think through the policy of decentralization, a lot of Indian industry is new industries are being set up in very many cities, whether it be Chennai or Hyderabad or Bangalore. So most of these are very, what do you call it, as, they're not culturally, they are kind of blending. very homogeneous culture of a lot of young Indians who are today going and living in so many different cities. They're embracing lifestyle in many different cities. So I think India is also changing very rapidly. So traditional mindset doesn't hold anymore.
Got it. And in terms of other consumers across cities actually experimenting with new brands, because they are actually also, they are looking at, they don't come with a lot of baggage, right? They've not been using a lot of brands before. They're discovering a lot of brands on the platforms or on the media channels and online media channels and so on. Do you see their buying behavior to be more experimentative, less experimentative? Are they more price elastic, less price elastic? Is the buying behavior itself different also, or is that also fairly homogeneous?
No, I think I always call it a tale of two markets. India is a tale of two markets. So even on our platform, where there are great offers and the average AOVs are 1,800 on a daily basis, we must be having as much as 30% of our orders are below 1,500 or 1,000. So it is a tale of two markets. There are lots and lots of customers who have the aspiration but don't have the affordability to buy all that they want. So I think that reality of India one has to understand. But within that, I think there are no major differences in terms of how aspirational today's customer is.
Got
We talk about democratization of beauty, where what is now, I mean, what is today available abroad in the US, we are abroad anywhere in the world, we are bringing to Indian consumers, and it is available in all thousand cities, all 15,000, 20,000 zip codes. So I think in that sense, there is a true democratization of consumption, where what is available in the cities, the big cities, is today available everywhere in India.
Interesting. And talking about big cities, one of the things I see a lot of brands now do is, while they talk about online channels, they are also rediscovering offline channels, so to speak, and participating now, trying to participate with modern trade to some extent, and perhaps also some of the B2R commerce platforms. So how do you really see the online, offline converging? You yourself also run a very large network of very successful stores. How deeply will this converge, and do you think modern trade will catch up, or will there be new offline players, or the online first players will be the next sort of modern trade of India?
So I think converge is a very strong word. What I would say is that we have always believed in omni-channel based on the consumer need, and we know that in beauty there are certain consumer needs to try certain foundations or to go and seek advice from the customers. So what we are doing is consumer first execution and trying to give customers the formats that they want, the brands that they want, and where they want it. So I think that is the manner in which we are executing. But if you look at e-commerce, they always talk about the biggest advantage of e-commerce is assortment, and they call it endless aisle. Today our e-commerce platform can have as many as 2,500 brands without blinking an eyelid. Most physical stores cannot accommodate so many brands. So the store execution tends to be narrow, whether from zip code serviceability perspective to assortment perspective to how frequently you can change focus, emphasis, offers. So I think there are advantages of e-commerce that can't be taken away, but there is certain physical commerce need in customers' mind, and I think one needs to do the right approach, and what we call it is consumer led, consumer first approach, where you give them physical retail to the extent they need.
No. And finally, do you see, consumers actually evolve in their own customer journey also, starting from online, moving to offline, truly enjoying and discovering the seamless experience between the two, or, is there some segmentation emerging there as well, where, some customers, are sort of very online, but some others will still prefer to be a lot more offline?
No, we think that most of the consumers are omni-channel. Very few consumers are only offline or only online, and consumer knows what they want. So what we find is that, for example, in our store, even if we were to put cheap shampoos in our store, they're not going to come and buy the cheap shampoo in our store. They're going to buy the palette in our store, and the shampoo they're going to probably order from the neighborhood grocer, or they may come and buy it on Nykaa website, through a personal care kind of a basket that they regularly replenish. So I think there is the consumer is very clear what they want to make an effort to come into the store for. and they are going to do that. In fact, in early days, I used to think that we should have a big our app should be there live in the store, because consumer can play around and they can see what is on our app, they can see the read ratings and reviews, and they can buy that. But what we found is that when they come into the store, they want to come to physically get advice, or to physically look at the product, and to try out a smell or a color, or a what kind of foundation shade they need. And they are not coming there to read the reviews, because minute they walk out of our store, they have the freedom to read on the reviews on their phone anytime. They have freedom to look at what is there in our app and website anytime. So when they're in the store, they don't want to waste their time looking at our app, because that is in their hand 24/7.
Got it. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think as I look at e-commerce also, I think one, you spoke about the omni-channel experience. I think even on online now, there is some proliferation of channels that is happening. You have some of the video commerce platforms which are trying to do live videos or influencer-led sales, influencer-led brand creation, and so on. How do you see the retail end, the online retail I'm talking about? How is that evolving, and how are e-commerce disruptors like yourself looking at that trend? Is that an evolving trend? Is that a marginal trend? Is the customer graduating to a more evolved form of online commerce, or or is this just yet another step in the overall customer journey?
No, I think video commerce, as well as what we call as social commerce, is here to stay, because I think there are certain benefits of those. Like, there are customers who may want to browse and through their own journey discover products, or there are consumers who just want someone to tell them what to buy, how to use it, give any advice that they want to give it through video. And as a result, Nykaa has in fact an Explore tab, which is an additional tab on our app, where we have all the videos, and all of the videos talk about the products that they've used in the video, and the purchase is just a click away. You click on it and it's added to the cart and you can get out. So I think there will be both ways of purchase, both video commerce as well as through browsing based apps. I think the reading and the blogs are becoming thing of the past. That is for sure. So it is either, at leisure browsing and discovering what they want to buy on their own at their pace and in their journey, or through live video commerce. These are the two most important. Now, when we talk about influencer commerce, that is anyway being now manifested through live videos. So in many ways, they're merging. And obviously, influencers have an influence, but it's not like the influencer commerce is 100% of the market, because a lot of consumers want to have their own insights into what they want to buy, and all those things about word of mouth recommendation, or even just at leisure discovering through ratings and review, which many of our sites have very extensive ratings and review. All of them have a role to play in convincing the consumer.
Interesting. And as video and the way consumers discover products, consume content, read reviews, make their purchase decisions, as that becomes more evolved, does that also open up new opportunities for retailers like yourself? Because now the influencers are not just restricted to beauty or personal care or hygiene or nutrition, but perhaps start to expand more into lifestyles, more into home and kitchen and other adjacent categories, which you've had some play in. But is this something that you see as something that will support growth of Nykaa beyond the core that it's already a leader in?
We have been using all of this for a long time. So I think we have a program called Nappers, which is influencer-led commerce, where depending on what they recommend, they can convert it to a revenue-based model if that recommendation of their converts to purchases. Most of us have been using it. I think there are companies who are now trying to make a big deal about it, but I think it's something which is available to all e-commerce companies, and all the traditional e-commerce companies are clearly focusing a lot on both video commerce as well as social commerce.
Got it. And overall, what's the view of the brands now? So do the brands who already spend on advertising on e-commerce platforms like yourself, are they thinking around their ad spend allocations differently in this new world? And is on e-commerce platforms like yourself now sort of garnering more of that ad spend, and where is it sort of coming? Is it coming from online, coming from offline? Talk to us about the brand perspective on how they are latching onto these trends and where they are possibly struggling.
So I think the brand spends are definitely going more towards digital spends compared to traditional spends. So, be it TV or outdoor, or I think it's clearly going digital. But in the digital funnel, there are lots of opportunities. There is, of course, what we call as upper funnel opportunity through YouTube or through OTT platforms or through content or entertainment platforms, so to speak. And then as you keep coming, and those are good at doing what we call as brand building. And then as you come down the middle funnel, there are more direct opportunities which recommend, they recommend commerce, and through that social commerce, you can capture it finally through brand's own platform, D2C platform, or through multi-brand platform like ourselves. So I think all the models are available, and brands have a lot of choice in what I call as digital marketing. So our platforms are definitely very valuable to them because the conversion is kind of instant if customer likes it. But we are more towards the lower funnel, and sometimes they also want to influence the customer in the upper funnel, because if you see the visits on the upper funnel platforms, they are very large. So the
Got it.
catchment is very large.
So, Falguni, I'm also sort of watching time and want to leave some space for some questions from the audience also. But just, we're seeing a lot of money, a lot of capital flow into consumer brands, D2C brands, internet first brands, as we like to call them. Also some vertical commerce platforms, also video commerce platform. And what's your advice for these tech entrepreneurs? And also, my sort of favorite question, is too much capital a good thing or a bad thing, right? Because at one stage it's feeling like a differentiator, but on the other hand, just something does not feel right about it. How do you think about this, and what is your advice to the tech entrepreneurs?
No, I think it's always good to have capital on your side, but I think how you spend it and how wisely you spend it is very important. And I think what is important is to build a sustainable business that will last. And it's not that when the capital finishes, then there is no business model left because you've blown up all the capital in not creating long-term assets, but in creating short-term GMV-driven activity. So I think very GMV-led mindset of trying to build a GMV in the short term, that may not be sustainable because it is built in a manner that is not sustainable, is something that I would not recommend for anybody. I think it's important to
And
build
Falguni, you yourself in Nykaa has been a phenomenal example of, driving towards unit economics, a positive, compelling unit economics, along with growth. You're not compromised growth because of that. Like, what was so difficult about it, and why are others not able to get it?
I think it's not difficult, but it's just plain simple old hard work. I joke about it that I think what is important in India is to have a lot of passionate people who are very bright and are ready to work very hard to deliver a solution to the customer. I think if you tell me to choose between a combination of motivated, hardworking, intelligent people versus a lot of money, I would prefer the first bucket for sure.
Got it. And so it's all about the people. It's about the culture, and it's about the motivation. If they're foreseeing, or if their ambition is to create a lasting, sustainable business that they can be proud of, then you can achieve it. But of course, maybe. So you're saying the difference is really the team. Okay, interesting. On the brand side, any advice, Falguni? A lot of internet first brands, a lot of young entrepreneurs, coming across with nutrition brand platforms. Sometimes narrow, sometimes broad. Beauty also we're seeing, personal care we're seeing a lot. What's your advice to the brand entrepreneurs who are trying to create, or not trying to create a channel, but a brand which rides on on channels like yourself?
I think I was reading some research also about in the US or in the developed markets. And what today's brands are thinking is that you don't need to create a brand that appeals to everyone. And basically, the appeal is a little bit of appeal to everyone. What they are trying to do is they're taking very narrow set of consumers, and they're seeing that narrow set of consumers' needs, and then they're fulfilling it with far more passion and completeness. So they are saying if we offer the right products to this narrow set of customers, which now can be reached through digital targeting, and we can make a successful brand with it without having to incur large amount of expenses of a massive national brand or a massive brand that has to be marketed on TV, which itself is a large cost. So their feeling is that if they can build this more of a what you call of a very curated small customer segment appeal, then they can make a successful brand. So a lot of them are thinking about it, and I think there is a lot of passion amongst the young entrepreneurs. So I wish them all the best. I think they just have to avoid the pitfalls of assuming that throwing money at the problem solves for everything. There have been two rounds of digital. I mean, ever since the digital businesses started doing well, I've seen two down rounds where so many businesses could not raise any more money or capital because they had not built something worthwhile. And that is the true test, that will your business be able to raise money when it'll be harder to raise money and you may not be still at the finishing line? Will you get your subsequent fundraisers? Getting the first fundraiser at a high valuation doesn't guarantee success.
Got it. So I think this is very exciting. I'll actually, given we have last 5 minutes left, I'm actually pulling Sandeep back in the room if possible. Sandeep, do you have any questions you wanted to also ask? And I can see a couple of questions in the chat box. Otherwise, I can go and address those and ask those. Or Sandeep, maybe you want to lead that.
Thank you, Madhur. Falguni, we have a full house today, and a couple of questions. What is the buy now, pay later share in the average monthly sales, and what is the overall trend? What is the share of the non-discount sales when only normal, regular, low discount is available compared to big discount sales? So two questions here.
Yeah, almost seems to be asking for data, but I think your perspectives would be more valuable.
Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot give the data. But
Yeah,
I think as far as Nykaa is concerned, I've always gone and said that for me, it's important to sell the right color of the lipstick to the customer at full price, then sell the wrong color of the lipstick to consumers at a low price. And most likely, consumer will be unhappy with their purchase and will not want to buy it again. So I think doing the right thing from a consumer perspective is what we talk about. Our site offered what is called consumer pull brands, consumer pull, products rather than push. So I think we don't want to be brand push site. We don't want to be clearance site. We were very clear about all of that. And within that, of course, we try to get the best deal for our customers by encouraging our brands to offer the deals that they're ready to offer to the customer. So, in fact, if you ask customers today, they like it. They like that Nykaa brings them regular great offers. But we also do normal, regular business, which brands want to do. Like there are certain products of the brand that they would not like to discount. So I think what they like about Nykaa as a platform is that we are able to sell new season, like in fashion, new season products, new launches, which are usually not discounted, and we are not a clearance platform.
Okay. A couple of other questions have popped in, but we are running short of time. Is Nykaa looking to explore avenues other than beauty? Where is the beauty and cosmetic market headed?
Yeah. So yes, Nykaa has said that we are now more of a lifestyle retailer and we will extend to other platforms in a logical manner. So we start with beauty and then extend it to fashion. At the moment, we are also building B2B business, but it's focused on beauty. So it's more of a vertical integration than diversification. We have said that segments like wellness appeal to us, and we would do more in that area. We already sell wellness on our website, so it's not a totally new segment to us. But we would do more extensive execution in that area. We also have a Nykaa Man as a platform where we are offering a little wider range of goods that men consume. So I think we do feel that it doesn't lead to confusion in brand image if you make it very clear to the customer what you stand for. So I think Nykaa is talking about standing for right on trend, high quality, right value for money, but affordable products for the customer and democratization of beauty and fashion for the customer throughout India. So I think our customers understand what we offer them, but we are a curated website. We're not an open platform where anyone can come and sell anything. So I think compared to horizontal, we have a big advantage that we are able to clearly define what we stand for through the assortment that we offer.
Fantastic.
Sandeep, we are pretty much at the top of the time we had. Falguni, this has been very exciting, very energizing as always. Congratulations once again on building what you've built and for a very successful IPO. And we wish you all the best, and looking forward to staying engaged. And more power to you. Keep doing all the good stuff that you've been at. Thank you so much for sparing the time. We've really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you, Falguni. Thank you, Madhur.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.